Fukuoka, a luminous gateway on Japan's western shore. To the global travelers, this metropolis is a city of the senses. It is the steam of hot ramen, the warm glow of yatai stalls, and the thunder of summer fireworks over the bay. Yet, merely a whisper away from the neon pulse of Nakasu and the relentless rhythm of Hakata Station. Another world lies in wait, the quiet remains of a fortress, long since vanished from sight. It's hard to believe. From Fukuoka's busy Tenjin district, one short subway ride takes you 400 years back in time. Step out at Hakata Station, walk for a few minutes, and the modern city quietly falls away. Travelers often arrive here with a simple question. Tokyo has Tokyo Station. Osaka has Osaka Station. But here, why is the main Shinkansen hub called Hakata and not Fukuoka? The answer lies hidden within these castle walls. It takes us back 4 centuries. Before this fortress rose on these hills, Fukuoka was not the name of this town. For a long time, the thriving port on this bay was known simply as Hakata, a city of merchants and sea trade. In the early 1600s, when the feudal lord completed this new castle, he gave it a name from his ancestral homeland, Fukuoka. And so, a divide was created. Fukuoka became the domain of the samurai. Hakata remained the town of the merchants. This shared history left the modern city with a fascinating dual personality. Half Fukuoka, dignified and restrained like a warrior, half Hakata, bustling and lively like a trader. And this stone castle, it still stands on the ridge between those two souls. On the map, this area is marked as Maizuru Park. But what is the connection between this name and the ancient fortress? The castle once crowned these hills, a landmark visible even from far out at sea. With its tiered white walls and dark tiled roofs, its outline was said to resemble a great crane, wings spread in mid-dance. Hence, the elegant title, Maizuru, the Castle of the Dancing Crane. To glimpse the original splendor of the Dancing Crane, look no further than the Shimonohashi Gomon Gate. With its turret and white walls, it is undeniably a thing of beauty. But look at its shape. It gracefully forces you through 2 sharp 90-degree turns, and that elegance is a trap. By forcing this turn, heavy battering rams lose all their momentum and room to move. Attackers are squeezed into a narrow corner, exposed to crossfire from 3 sides. It is not just a gate. It is a very elegant killing machine. The stonework here was so exceptional that the fortress earned a formidable nickname, the Stone Castle. 4 centuries have passed. The tides of history have washed over these grounds, Of the original 47 wooden turrets, only a scattered few remain. The great wooden halls and palaces have long since disappeared, but the stone skeletons survive. These massive walls and the quiet foundation stones beneath them, they endure like the rings of an ancient tree, silently recording the slow, inevitable flow of time. You may be familiar with the sheer vertical fortifications of European castles, or perhaps the Forbidden City in Beijing. So, when facing these Japanese walls, one might naturally be skeptical. Why are they slanted? Look at those gaps between the stones. To the untrained eye, it looks defenseless. You might even think, give me a squad of men, and we could storm this slope in minutes. But make no mistake, there is a method to this madness. Japan is a land of torrential rains and violent earthquakes. A solid, rigid wall would crack and crumble under such forces. But this curved, pyramid-like structure, it is a masterpiece of engineering. The gaps allow water to drain, and the slope allows the stones to shift during tremors without collapsing. The proof stands before you. 400 years of typhoons and earthquakes, yet these massive walls still stand tall. The architects of war, whether in Europe or Japan, were absolute geniuses. They did not blindly follow rules. They adapted to their specific enemies. In Europe, facing the destructive power of cannons, walls became low and thick to absorb the impact. But in Japan, facing earthquakes and close-quarters combat, the walls chose a different path. They chose geometry and finesse. That inviting slope, it is a trap. Observe the curve closely. It is not a straight line. It starts gentle, but as it rises, it becomes exponentially steeper, until it is nearly vertical at the very top. It curves like an inverted fan. Imagine the attacker. He sprints up the easy base, but halfway up, gravity turns against him. He finds himself stranded, unable to advance, unable to retreat. And at that precise moment of vulnerability, he is exposed to a lethal onslaught from the defenders above. But the stone wall was merely the first line of defense. What we see today are mostly ruins, but here stands a survivor. Behold, the Tabun Yagura, an important cultural property, and the only turret still sitting on its original Edo period foundations. If the bare wall was hard to climb, this structure acts like a lid, capping the top. Even a modern professional rock climber would struggle here. Now imagine trying it while wearing 50 pounds of samurai armor. And that is assuming the defenders let you climb in peace, which they would not. Inside this 54-meter-long corridor, soldiers waited, armed with matchlock muskets, arrows, boiling water, and hot oil, ready to give their guests a warm welcome. Look at the interior design. The windows hinge upwards, acting as shields against arrows raining from above. As for enemies below, trying to take aim, they would be eliminated before they even raised their heads. With narrow gun slits hewn for muskets and stone drops for crushing anyone directly below, there is simply no blind spot. So, let us conduct a final thought experiment. Imagine I transport you back 400 years. You are a general, and you must choose a fortress to besiege. Would you choose option A, the vertical labyrinth of the Japanese castle? Or option B, the geometric perfection of the European star fort? Or perhaps option C, the endless barrier of the Great Wall of China? Which of these defenses would be your ultimate nightmare? I invite you to share your choice and your strategy in the comments below. Alas, our time here is drawing to a close, but the journey is far from over. Join me in our next chapter as we unravel the enigma of the three great keeps of Fukuoka Castle, silent sentinels of a bygone era. We shall also immerse ourselves in the profound, melancholic beauty of wabi-sabi. To be sure you don't miss what comes next, do subscribe and tap the notification bell. Until we meet again.